Hello everyone, my name is Pasha Tarasov. Today I'm going to talk about a really cool practical application of artificial intelligence. You've all seen how spam bots flood Telegram chats and post all sorts of nonsense, how to find a job, stuff about crypto or something else like that. Of course, there are simple bots that fight this. When you join a chat, they ask you to enter a captcha or something like that. But unfortunately, spam bots have already learned how to get around this. Today, using zero coding and the n8n platform, we're going to create our own bot powered by artificial intelligence that detects and instantly bans these guys. At the same time, it doesn't require any configuration at all. You just add it to your chat and it starts working. Let's give it a try. We need to create the actual Telegram bot. To do this, open Telegram and look for a special bot created by Telegram itself. The bot is called BotFather. Select it and click Start or Restart. Choose the new bot command. Now we need to give the bot a name, which will help us identify it easily in the future. For this example, let's call it AI Anti-Spam Bot, a name that clearly describes its purpose. After naming the bot, the next step is to choose a unique username that will be used to refer to the bot within the system. The username must end with bot. Let's name it something like My Sample AI Anti-Spam Bot, a name that makes it clear this bot is designed to help prevent unwanted messages using artificial intelligence. The username you have selected is available, which means you can now proceed to use it without any issues or conflict. We've been given a token that we can use for automation. Click on it, and the token is copied. Let's go to n8n and start our work. This can be either the cloud version of n8n or n8n deployed on your virtual server or even on your own computer. I already have some working workflows here, but let's create a new one. Click on Create Workflow. So we need to add the first step. The workflow should be triggered when our bot sees a new message. Click Add First Step and search for Telegram. The bot should be triggered when a new message appears. Let's click on Message. I already have some Telegram accounts here, but let's add the new one we just created. Click Create New Credentials and paste the token that BotFather gave us into the Access Token field. Click Save. Credentials successfully created. Connection verified. Everything is working great and there are no issues at all. You can now go ahead and close this window. Once that's done, let's move on to the next step, which is naming our workflow. We'll call it AI Telegram Anti-Spam Bot, so it's easy to recognize and manage later. For testing, let's first create a super simple workflow. It receives a message and replies to it in any way. Just hello. Click the plus sign. This will be the next action after the received message. And again, let's select Telegram. Here we choose Send Message for this demonstration. Send a text message. Our Telegram account is already selected. Message, send message. Now we need to fill in the chat ID and the text. How do we fill it in? Well, let's first write the text, for example, hi, chat ID. So how do we fill in the chat ID? The chat ID is the person to whom we will send the message. In this case, we want to reply to the person who sent us a message. For now, let's fill in the chat ID with any number, for example, 0. And then we'll learn how to get the chat ID of the person who sent us the message. Let's close this, click Save, and then click Test Workflow. What happens now? Now our chat is waiting for us to receive an incoming message. We go to our bot and click the Start button. What do we see? Our trigger has fired. We can open it and see who the message came from and what its content was. In this case, it was start, which is a Telegram command. And now we can set this value in the node that sends the message. Let's open it. Chat ID. Let's find the chat ID here. Here it is. Let's drag it into this field. As you can see, it is now filled in. as an expression. Expression means that it is substituted from the previous field. Click test step. We see that our test message he has arrived in our Telegram. Now let's try to make it so that the message is not a constant one that you wrote, but the one generated by the neural network. In order to use an LLM, we need to choose a provider. Currently, there are several leading models. As we can see in the screenshot from OpenRouter, these are Gemini from Google, GPT 4.1 from OpenAI, and Claude Sonnet from Anthropic. Right now, there is intense competition among neural network providers. Some are getting better, others are getting worse. Some specialize in one task, others specialize in another. When we create a project, we usually want to use the best available option. We don't really care whose neural network we use. That's why I highly recommend using not just a single network, but a network aggregator. In this case, I use OpenRouter. Let's go to OpenRouter and get an API key, then add it to n8n so we can use it in our models. Go to settings, then keys, and add a key. Name it AI anti-spam chatbot. And you can set a credit limit, for example, 10. So you don't accidentally spend too much money. Click create, copy the key, and go back to n8n. Let's click on the arrow between our incoming and outgoing messages and click the plus sign there to add a node. Select AI and then AI agent. For now, there's nothing you need to change here. Now we have an AI agent. Let's tidy things up a bit and specify which model our agent will use to respond. Click the plus sign and select your model here. I will use OpenRouter. You can use something else if you prefer. I already have an OpenRouter account set up, but let's add another one. Create credentials, enter our key and name it AI anti-spam bot. Save. Close. Excellent. Let's test our workflow. Of course, we can go back to Telegram and use the trigger again, but n8n has a very convenient tool. We can capture the output of any node, so we don't have to pull from Telegram every time, for example. What output should we set for the Telegram trigger? Let's see what the input was in our previous execution. To do this, we need to go to executions. Here, we select our first node, switch to JSON mode, and copy the message that we received as input. Close that, go back to the editor, open the Telegram trigger node, and set our mock data. I click Save. Now click Test Workflow without opening Telegram or testing there. Oops, everything broke. Why? We didn't set a prompt for the agent. So what will be the prompt? Let's select the Define Below mode and set as the prompt the message that we sent to the bot. In this case, we'll drag the message from the previous node here, that is the start message, click Test Step, and we see the input, human start. Output, hello, how can I assist you? Excellent. Let's save it. Now we want the agent's response to be sent to Telegram. Once again, let's open the Telegram node. We can see that the connection here is a bit broken. Why is it broken? Because we added a node in the middle. Let's change it here. First of all, whom should we reply to? Let's drag the chat ID over. And for the message, let's drag the output of our AI agent. Click Test Step. We can see that now we've received a message which was written and generated by the neural network showing that our setup is working. Now let's proceed to configure our bot for further use. By default, bots in Telegram are not able to see messages that were written in a chat, which means they cannot access or read those messages unless we change their settings. Let's fix that. Now, please go back to BotFather and click on the My Bot section. We can see that my sample anti-spam bot is listed here. Go into it and click on bot settings. Here we select group privacy and we see that privacy is enabled, which means the bot can't see messages in groups, only those addressed directly to it. Let's turn off this setting. Great. Now our bot will be able to see all messages in groups. Let's create a group and then use it to test how our bot deletes spam messages. Create a new group in Telegram. Test anti-spam for better protection. And add our bot. Let's also immediately change the necessary settings in our group to ensure everything works smoothly and make our bot an administrator so it can perform all required actions without any restrictions. Save the settings, save and exit. Let's go set up the bots for this. So we need to make it so that our neural network determines whether an incoming message is spam or not. Right now, our agent can output arbitrary text messages. We need to change that. It should output either true if it really is spam or false if it is not spam. Let's change that. Go into the agent and set it up so that it has structured output, meaning the output follows a specific predefined schema. Let's enable this option. Additionally, let's write a system message. The system message for the agent is an instruction telling the agent what it should do with our incoming prompt. Save and add an output parser. Let's choose the simplest one, the structured output parser. There are several options here. Either set it from a schema or define the schema yourself. Well, actually, in fact, we can define the schema ourselves if we want to. Ours is very simple. Now, let's simply set our field in our example. Spam type boolean. Save. And let's temporarily remove the connection to Telegram so it doesn't send messages, and we'll test without it. Click Test Workflow. Check the output. Spam. False. Let's try to change it so that it's a spam message. Open our node. Edit the incoming message. And enter some text here, for example. Buy crypto will be mailing. Something like that. Save and try it out. Excellent. The message, as it turned out, was actually spam. Now, we need to add a node that determines what action to take, prohibit the sender or not. There is an if node. If, again, we drag the message over. What do we need to determine? We need to determine if it's spam. Boolean is true. And let's click Convert Types to make sure everything is unambiguous. Save it, run it. Our if branch has moved to the top. What needs to be done in this case? Well, in this case, we expect our bot to first delete, or in other words, remove the message that the spammer wrote. After that, for example, let's go ahead and add a Telegram note. And here, select chat message, chat ID. Again, drag our chat over, message ID, drag the message ID over, save it. Now we'll be testing it on the actual Telegram. Let's click here and delete our pinned messages. Click. Let's write something, for example, KZ. Excellent. What do we see? A message has arrived. Since we didn't write anything bad, our bot determined that the message really isn't spam and set our branch to false. In other words, it doesn't need to be deleted. Let's check the bot's log. We can see in the logs that it processed our command and our human message. Now let's try sending a spammy message. We expect our bot to delete it. Let's write something about crypto. So we've written a spammy message. Let's give it a try. Our bot determined that the message is spam and it moved to the deletion branch. And let's check in Telegram. Whoa, indeed, our message has been deleted. But there's a problem. We've deleted the message, but we haven't banned the user. How do we do that? We'll just write again. Let's figure it out. Let's update our workflow so that we can ban a user. And now, at this point, let's try to add one more important step banning the user from the platform entirely. Go ahead and click on the plus button to continue. Then select Telegram from the list of available options and take a closer look here. Wait, there's really no such trigger available in this case? What should we do about that particular situation? Indeed, the creator of n8n didn't include the ability to ban users out of the box. But that's not a problem. With this, you can set up almost any automation. The Telegram API does have this capability. We could open the API now and try to figure it out. But for such simple actions, it's much easier to let neural networks handle it for us. In NATO, you can add a custom HTTP request node. Let's add it to our workflow. And with the help of a neural network, we can make this node perform exactly what we need, namely to ban users when required. Here, I select the HTTP request option, add it to the sequence, and for now, I don't make any changes to its default settings, just leave everything as it is. The only thing I do at this stage is connect this HTTP request node directly to our main node, ensuring that the process will work as intended. I go into this node, press Ctrl+C to copy it, and now let's go to Open Router to write a prompt for our neural network. Click on Chat and select Flagship Models. Let's make sure that only Claude is left here and that no one else stays behind. But why are we choosing Claude in particular to remain here? What is the reason for selecting him specifically? All the models are specialized. Each is good in its own way. Right now, Claude 2.5 Pro writes code the best. I prefer Claude. Some people prefer Gemini, choose what works for you. I'll be writing for Claude. All right, let's write. We'll ask it to write an HTTP request, specifically for us, that bans a user in Telegram And we'll also add where to retrieve the chat ID, as well as where to locate and acquire our user details for reference. Let's go back to us. Take a look. Take the chat ID from here and the user ID as well. Message has been received. Message from ID. Message from ID. Let's run it. Copy it. Let's go to our workflow. Paste it. Delete this part and add ours. Unfortunately, it's not very good that it's visible like this in plain text. This can be fixed. I'll talk about that in another video sometime. But for now, let's leave it at this. There's nothing wrong with it if it's our small personal project. Let's try our wonderful group, my main account. And now I'll log in from my phone and try to send a spam message. Let's see if the bot will ban us. Let's go to... Oh. Looks like everything worked. Yes, I see that I've been banned. Excellent. Now our bot is working. All that's left is to enable our workflow. Click to make it active. We're notified that it's activated. Here it is. We can add the bot to our group, make it an admin, and everything will really work. So thank you all. What we did together was a very simple example, but effective for banning spammers. You can improve this bot. You can make it respond properly to private messages and only ban spammers in groups. You can add some additional rules, set extra restrictions, do whatever is convenient for you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to write to me privately. I'll do my best to help you. And maybe even make a new video that will help make the bot better. Besides, feel free to use the ready-made bot that I created. It's actually a bit more complex than what was done here in the example, but it works great. Add it to your groups and spammers will be banned automatically. Automate your work. Work less. Let neural networks do the work for you. Have a great day.